What's up, Sub Squad? SOB here, bringing you yet another Division 2 video. I'm just playing. Anyways, it's Relentless here, bringing you yet another Division 2 video. But if you happen to be new to the channel, or you're just enjoying the content, then please be sure to ground and pound that like and subscribe button. Also, reach up there, trigger the bell, and turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, I got hit up on my social medias, in which you can find those links in the description below between my Discord and Facebook pages. Slippery When Wet asks, how do I maximize the potential of my health and my armor pools if I can't find a higher percentage value on chest piece? He goes on to say that the most that he can actually find is 16% total armor on a chest piece, and he still can't achieve over 400k armor. Well, I'm here to help you out, Slippery When Wet, so let's hop right into it. Now, I just threw these pieces on, more or less, to show them as an example. Alright, the workaround, and a lot of people don't, use the potential of certain baked-in pieces on brand sets and gear sets to get those percentages that they're lacking as far as a attribute value on their chest piece and backpack. Like, for instance, the Heliguard backpack, or just one piece of Heliguard, will give you 5% total armor. 2 pieces of True Patriot gives you 10% total armor. And then 2 pieces of Overlord will give you 7.5% total armor. So just in those baked in values, you can get 22.5% total armor value on the brand set pieces baked in without having any attributes on them whatsoever. Now, when it comes to the likes of things like knee pads, a lot of people ask, well, which is better? 10% total armor or the likes of around 13 to 14,000 value numerical of armor? Well, let's see. We have 10% total armor on this one, no defensive bot slot, and then we have another Overlord that has 13,698 armor. As you can see, there's only a 2k difference between having 13,698 armor and then 10% total armor. And that is, like I stated earlier, if you only have percentage values on everything, then it doesn't really have nothing to bounce itself off of besides the baked-in armor, like on these knee pads at 25.8k armor. So if that's all you have, then that's all those percentages are going to bounce off of. So you can switch them out, and I went with actually the Badger Tough set also can come with a percentage number and a numeric value of, such as these, 9.5% total armor and then 13,605 armor. But as you can see, you only gained 1,000 in armor. Well, that is because I'm losing the 2 piece of Overlord that gave me the 7.5%, but which is when I switched that back, as you can see, I've actually really gained almost, that's 17,000 armor just by keeping the 2 pieces of Overlord, maintaining that 7.5%. I'm losing, a percentage value, not minuscule when it comes to the total armor value on the knee pads, but I'm more or less getting the best of both worlds because I'm getting 13,605 numeric value and the percentage value, which, as you can see, just jacked me up to almost 400k and those things alone. Now you can mix and match. This is more or less on a PvE side, because Badger Tough is not really all that great when it comes to PvP. So more or less most wouldn't use the knee pads or really any Badger Tough on PvP, but the knee pads can give you some value even on PvP, because the 7% damage to elites is not really null and void and worthless because you have elites in the Dark Zone. It also has an offensive mod slot, but you get 2 attribute rolls with the total armor and, of course, a number value of armor, which is basically the best of both worlds and can give you more potential out of just utilizing 1 piece of Badger Tough, which is not too many people do. Now, when it comes to the likes of, let's say, a backpack, I don't have but 10,494 armor, but I do have a defensive mod slot, which is I can get a little bit of minuscule boost of armor, and it depends on your personal preference. Some will have actually higher values of numeric values on it as far as armor wise, and then a percentage armor on it as well. Case in point, ones that have like the total armor value and armor value, I went from 399 to 410 just by getting a couple percentage more in armor and about 2,000 more in numeric armor. So that is another 12k just from 1 defensive mod slot. And that's also what makes, in my opinion, Heliogard the best brand set out there. Because even just like the knee pads, you can say, well, it has 2 on it, and then you have the 7% damage to elites. But if you're able to sneak in a Heliogard knee pads, I found this 13.5% total armor on Aces and 8s knee pads, and then it has 2 defensive mod slots. So I'm gaining, 3.5%, well, 4% on total armor, but yet my armor is still had went down. But then you got to factor in the 2 defensive mod slots. So bear with me, I'll try to make this quick. So we'll just sling that one in there, and then we'll swing, let's see, this will work. And as you can see, my armor jumped up even more substantially just by adding not only those minuscule 2.5% total armor and 3.5% total armor for 6% total armor, but that 10,000 numeric value of armor gave me more bang for my buck, because those numbers actually will bounce off those other percentages really, really nicely and can elevate your armor. Also, like on the chest piece, most, like he said, he couldn't find but 16% total armor. And if I didn't have that 38,872 armor, I wouldn't, have my over 400k armor, because this piece actually came with the 16% total armor, and that, of course, hardened plus 15% armor. And then I had to ask myself, just like you have to ask yourself on your pieces, what can you get the most value out of? And if you have more or less all percentage values on everything, then if you already have weapon damage, then the best thing to actually go for, if you're not using any kind of skill power, would be the likes of health and armor. And since, armor is what more or less this overall build is going for, then that overall numeric value of armor was my best option for me to go to, the thing that I would get the most value out of. Now, if it didn't have weapon damage on it, then one could make the argument, and you would still have to ask yourself, would weapon damage benefit you more or your survivability? And that all depends on your comfort zone as far as when it comes to the values that you actually want or like and prefer when it comes to armor and health. And a lot of people out there have the misconception of, well, you don't have any active talent on your chest piece, you're just using Harden. Well, Harden gives you 15% armor. And if you compare it to the likes of like Berserk or Bloodsucker, Badger Tough, these type, they do allow you, some give you more damage, some will go more or less on the defensive as far as survivability, but they all require you to do something or have something happen in order to get value out of them. At least this way, I'm not restricted by, having to have something happen or having me to do something in order to get value out of it. I have a consistent 15% armor value, and to me, in comparison with all my other pieces, I'm going to gain more value out of it that way than having the likes of Bloodsucker here over the Harden, because the pieces I have with Bloodsucker on it doesn't have any of the total armor values on it, and I would actually drop down to around 300k. And the case in point, here's one. Yes, considerable amount more weapon damage, but I only have 20,785 armor, no hardened, and no other percentage value of armor. And as you can see, it drops from 410 to 292. One can make the argument, well, you can survive and do just fine off 300k armor. I do it all the time. Well, not everybody feels that way, and not everybody can do that and prefer that way, and they prefer to be more tanky, just as I do. Because sometimes, especially on the raid, you got to play field medic where, everybody's wiped out and got something that they're doing that they can't just, take away from. So the tankier you are, you can, be the little field medic, run all the way across the map just to be able to pick up your teammates to, keep the raid going, especially if you're over on Razorback. And if you're having to run from 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 just to go pick somebody up, then you need to be as tanky as possible just so that way you can make it there and pick them up. But anyways, that's kind of jumping off topic. So, case in point, don't always just stack nothing but percentage values on everything. At least try to have some kind of number value on your chest piece and your backpack and knee pads, because those 3 things are the only pieces that you can actually get armor values actually on them, whether it be numeric or percentage wise. And now health, you can get health on every single slot. Whether it's your mask, backpack, chest piece, gloves, knee pads, or holster, you can get health values on all 6. But when it comes to armor, you can only get armor on your backpack, chest piece and knee pads, unless it's like a baked in kind of thing to where it's not really a value as far as attribute wise. That's just a baked in talent that you're getting for having like the 2 pieces of Overlord. For instance, if I had Overlord gloves here instead of the Overlord mask, yes, I would gain 7.5% armor, but you know, there's other best options than, you know, utilizing and taking up the glove spot just for a percentage base. Now, if I had to go with the likes of these knee pads and needed a second piece of Overlord, that's where the debate would actually come in. What value would actually be better, the number value or the percentage value? And in this case, if I was in the number value 388 versus the likes of getting that 10% total armor on it, you can see it's only a matter of 2k difference. So it all depends on your personal preference and overall the other values that you have on your other pieces. Now when it comes to health, you get the highest rolls on your holster, your chest piece, your mask, and your backpack. If I had to rate them from 1 to 3 as far as the top 3 pieces that most can get the most health value out of, 1 would actually be the chest, 2 would be the holster, 3 backpack, and then it's a toss-up between the mask and knee pads. I tend to get more around the 29 to 30k value of health on mask, and the most I've seen as far as on the knee pads have only been less than 25. So just from personal experience, if I had to choose based on my, you know, interactions with the game and the RNG, then if I had to choose between health value on mask or knee pads, I would go with the mask. But, you know, as well, you can get health on every single piece, but the maximum amount of health that you actually get on those pieces vary quite differently. Like some can get, you know, upwards to almost 20k on their gloves, I believe. I have several that's around 15 or 16k. So if that's something you have to do for the meantime in order to find other pieces that you can actually, you know, get the more potential out of, then you have to do what you got to do. But be sure to get health on your chest, mask, backpack, and holster if you actually can, especially with those clutch builds, because those are the best potential pieces for that case. Now when it comes to the versus the PvP, PvE, and you're not using skill power and you're not using crit chance or crit damage, then the best in slot for health is on individual pieces, it would be your holster and your mask. Because you can only have a certain amount of things on your mask and holster. You can have health, damage to elites, crit chance, crit damage, hazard protection, but you can't have any armor values on it. So if it's a PvE, then it's, you know, damage to elites, hard hitting, and if you're not using skill power, then health would be the best in slot. Now if you're not going PvE, then health, hazard protection would probably be the go-to as far as the attributes, because you don't need damage to elites. You're not a crit build, you're not doing crit damage. So in those instances, not using skill power, still health, hazard protection, best on the mask. Holster, same scenario. Crit damage, crit chance, health, skill power, percentage of health also can be found on your holster, and it all depends on your overall build. Now skill power, you can get, you know, find the right pieces that can have upwards to almost 1,000 skill power and have 50k health on them. I destroyed the 49k health roll that I actually had on accident, so the most I can have on one particular piece now, I believe, is 43,000. But also, that's the case in point, you have to ask yourself if you're going crit chance, crit damage, or you want some skill power. But if you're not going for skill power, then the best route is your health, because you can only get health as far as the upward values when it could, in comparison to other pieces, it's there, so why not take it? If you're not using crit chance, crit damage, or skill power, then you're going to get the most bang for your buck on your chest, on your holster and your mask if you go with health. So also keep that in mind, and you can actually get health values, percentage, and numeric on your mask as well. Case in point, 6% and then 25,349. So if, like I said, I can't reiterate that enough. Only if you're not using crit chance, crit damage, or skill power, you can go with health and hazard protection. Those will be the two best things on your mask and your holster. But I hope it's slippery when wet. I hope it's actually helped you out. I hope you do find some better percentage values when it comes to chess piece. I know RNG really sucks in the game, but I hope it's helped you out. I hope I hadn't confused you. Hope it's been informative. I appreciate all the love and support. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and we'll see you guys watching later.